So our special guest today is George Adamczyk. Welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself, George, and how you got started in the horror genre.
Well, I liked writing when I was a teenager, but I brought stuff to school and the teacher says it wasn't lined up, formatted right. And I tried writing the way they said, and I tried for months and it didn't work. So I just put it all away and forgot about it. Then I found an old box and I found my old story from when I was 15. I'm like, this is pretty good. And I published it without even hardly changing anything. And people seem to really, really like it. So then it just got me started back again.
Fantastic. I think it's nice how authors have written something when they were really younger.
Right. Yes, I think so. And I remember typing on my mom's old typewriter. She got mad that I was using up all her good typing paper. So she had my dad doing some work.
Yeah, I think it's lovely how you can adapt it and make it into a story when you're a full-grown adult and actually publish it. I think it's wonderful. I never had that chance because obviously everything I wrote when I was younger got lost. So I think it's amazing.
Yeah, this all that was left was this one little story, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So what drew you into the horror genre specifically?
Well, I always loved the Twilight Zone and Creepshow and Tales from the Crypt. And I figured that's where most of my stories get started from anyways. I have really great dreams. So I just wrote about stuff that came to me while I was dreaming or when I was daydreaming also, of course. And it seemed to just drift towards horror.
Yeah. So is horror sort of like your go-to genre?
Yes, definitely.
Have you ever tried writing in any other genres?
Well, what I tried when I was a kid was like Conan the Barbarian stuff. That's what I actually like. When you're 15, you like the swords and the sorcery and stuff. And that's actually not that much of a difference. I guess Robert E. Howard and H.P. Lovecraft said they shared universes.
Yeah, that's right. So I know you said you get your ideas from dreams, but how do you process that from a dream to a story?
Well, yeah, it's pretty easy. Like once I wake up, I just scribble a little bit down, and then I just outline it. I like to put everything into outline so I know where the story's going, and then after that I can fill in all the blanks.
So you're a plotter.
Yes, I am. That's my. I like to plot things. Yes.
Fantastic. So how do you create your characters?
Pardon me?
How do you create your characters?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I like to just figure out. I like to do a little bit of justice. I know a lot of people like to see everyone die at the end. I don't like that all the time. Sometimes that's okay, but I like to see the good guy win sometimes, So I try to figure out characters that would fit. Of course, then certain other times I just like totally evil characters. It depends on how the story starts formulating in my brain, I guess.
Yeah. So how do you create the perfect antagonist?
Oh wow. Oh man, that's another toughie. A lot of times I just have them as demons that people discover, and I like to pattern them also like Lovecraft or modern stuff that would modern versions of ancient monsters. Put it that way.
Yeah. Do you ever base them off people that you know or experiences that you've had?
Oh yeah, I think everybody does. I try to definitely. There's certain aspects that I wrote into it that when I had my friends read, I'm like, oh, you added that. that's stuff that happened to us. So yeah, definitely, it's kind of cool, especially if you have something fun or weird or crazy that happened when you were younger. You could add it in, and it really makes you because you were there at the time, so you could
Yeah.
really, really describe it very well.
So, in your writing, do you normally explore a particular theme, or do you kind of like put a message into your writing, even though either deliberately or not even knowing about it?
I do try to put a message into some of it, and then some other times I just let it I'll go off the handle. Um, but it's kind of cool just to do different things. I think that anybody who writes where everyone dies at the end all the time, or where everyone lives at the end all the time, I think that's kind of predictable. Then you know what's going to happen at the end. I like to make the people guess. That's one thing that I always try to do is I try to make a surprise ending that nobody will guess. That's my favorite thing to do.
Does that always work?
Not always. Some people guess. My brother's good at that bastard. He knows me so well. But no, most of the time it really does. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, what's your favourite horror tropes to write about?
Like I said, I like to write about ancient demons or haunted things that come to life that out of nowhere. If you ever see the Twilight Zone too, things just happen to people. Ordinary. That's what I like is ordinary, everyday people. Something really paranormal, supernatural happens to them, and how they react to it. Some people react to it like and go right at it. And some people run away. Fight or flight. So that's what I try to do. And sometimes the characters fool you. Sometimes you think they're going to do one thing and they do something else, which is really cool because they have an outline.
Yeah. So have you ever...
He's going to do something else. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah. So have you ever encountered a place or a real life event that you felt that would have been good for a horror story?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one because I met up with my cousins for the first time in years, and they read my books and they thought they were great. So we mentioned that one time this actually happened to us. I'm trying to figure it out how to write it into a story, but we were real little, I'd say 10, 11, 12, 9, 8, something like that. We were all walking down the street. It was around Halloween time, and somebody in a window upstairs in this spooky house looked like a werewolf. And he's dressed like a werewolf. It freaked us out because we, like I said, we were more like 8, 9, 10 years old, and it was like a long time ago. And we freaked out. We ran away. I'm trying to figure out how to write that werewolf guy into a story. I'm glad you reminded me of that because I've been thinking about that for a while.
So how did he look like a werewolf?
Yeah, we asked my cousins. They said they never wanted to go back there. They never wanted to walk past that house again.
So have you encountered moments of self-reflection when creating horror?
Oh, well, yeah. You try and think about, like, would I do the right thing? And I try to think I would most of the time. But sometimes, if you're scared, some people just some really, really nice people who may have the best intentions have the flight reflex where, like, even if someone's in trouble, they run. And it's not their fault, kind of. It's kind of built into their nature. So I think, it's like I try to put. What I do try to do is because I do all short stories, and a lot of times I think that the emotional part of short story writing is kind of pushed back a little bit because people figure, well, I'm not going to develop these characters that much because it's just going to be like 6,000 words or whatever. Yeah. And I think I try to put emotions into what I write. And people have said that people who have read my stuff seem to think that they say, I never get it really emotionally involved with characters in short stories, but with yours I do. So that's a really good compliment if you ask me. I thought that's more than one person. A lot of people have said that. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. It is when you can sort of relate to a character, isn't it?
Yes. You feel the bond with him or her.
The story feels more real as well.
Right. Yes, definitely. Yeah, it makes it feel. I like to make it so that anybody who reads it can make kind of feel like this could have been me, or one of these characters sounds like me. I think that's
right. So do you feel any remorse or guilt for the discomfort for your readers?
Well, I'm not a real I don't really write a lot of gore or anything like that. I do get into some of it, but like I try not to feel I don't feel too bad because like I said, I try to write more like Twilight Zones than
Yeah.
and really splatter punk. So I don't really feel too bad. I think that most people can handle what I'm writing.
Brilliant. So what's been the most difficult scene that you've ever had to write?
Wow, I'm trying to finish this latest story, and I think it's one of my best ones ever, but it's kind of hard to finish because I don't know. Character the main character is a teenage girl, and the main antagonist is her father, and it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to. I'm not a teenage girl, obviously, and it's hard to get the feelings right. I I try to get some of my female friends to reread it for me and stuff, but like it's hard to really grasp them. Like, but see, it seems like women think that I write good for female characters pretty well, so I'm pretty happy. But it's really this newest one I'm writing right now is probably the toughest ever.
Yeah, when you're writing about other people's feelings, and you don't know specifically how that's going to go, it can be quite hard.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, sorry, what was you going to say?
No, I'm sure like you as a writer, you feel the same way. That kind of like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't put that in.
No, it is difficult when you're writing about other characters' feelings. You sort of like got to put yourself in that character's position and
Right.
kind of imagine how that character's going to be feeling at that particular time, and it can be quite hard.
Yeah. Do you have problems like writing for a guy or like a teenage guy? I would imagine sometimes a woman would have a hard time. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, it is. It's very true. If I've got to do something like that, I will ask my husband, how would you feel in this situation? How would this feel? And he'll sort of like explain it to me, and then it makes it a little bit easier. But you've got to have somebody that can actually do that with you.
Right. Yeah. Some people, that's another thing, is writing for people who have like no empathy or no like the people who have no regard for other people. I don't know how those people feel, so and that's kind of hard to write too. Because I have empathy for other people, Just don't care about anyone.
So
I guess
what's the
I don't want to make them one dimensional.
no?
Characters.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I don't know how to write for them people either.
So what's been the hardest book that you've written?
Like I said, the newest story is really hard on me. And then, oh well, I'm trying. I started this one short story, and it was supposed to be like 4,000, 5,000 words, and it ended up going way beyond stretching. Now it's all the way up to 25,000 words, and I found out that I can't do those stories. I had to have other people read them and sort it out for me because I was just lost. And it's right now I got the 25,000 words. I reread it so many times that I have to let it sit for like 4 or 5 months so I could reread it again so I could finally do the final edits. That's what's hard for me is trying to write like anything over 10,000 words. I start losing track, even with the outline.
So what happens going onto that? How would you edit that down to make it the word count that you would need it to be?
Yeah, that's what's tough. I started writing it like a year and a half ago, and I've re-edited the beginning of it so many times that it's hard to reread. And then the end is not finished good enough, so I have to wait like I'd say like 4 months or so at least, and forget about what the beginning was, and then start again, and then finish the ending for the final time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, go back to it with a fresh pair of eyes.
Right, exactly.
So have you ever collaborated with other artists?
No, I'd love to, but well, actually, my one artist, you mentioned artist, my first book, the publisher I didn't even know got a hold of it, and they loved the second story so much that, well, he publishes a newspaper here in the United States that's like the old Sunday Funnies. I don't know if you had that in England, where there's one whole section with just cartoons. Brought that back, and he turned my story into a monthly comic strip. And it's really, really cool. I get to work with a guy, Mike Gustovich, who he worked for Marvel. He worked for DC. He created the Justice Machine for DC, and he's drawing my characters now. I used to buy his comic books, and now he's emailing me and talking to me on the phone. It's kind of really, really cool.
It sounds amazing. And they turned it into a cartoon.
Yes, it's called A Kid in a Comic, and they've shown pictures of people reading it in Japan and Italy, so it's all over the world now. And it's I've had my first fan letter from Pop the Comic Strip, and a woman in California says that it's really creeping her out, and she can't wait to see how it all turns out. So I'm going to have that damn thing framed and put it on my wall.
That's fantastic. So have you had any memorable pieces from feedback from a reader that's made an impact on you?
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd just write one book and no one would ever read it. And then, I cross it off the bucket list, and then I get on with my life and do other stuff. But people start saying, wow, this is great. When's number 2 coming out? And then number 2, I'm like, oh, this is great. When's number 3 coming out? Well, anytime anybody says something great about it, my writing, it's just, it just makes me want to write more, I can't say one specific person, but anytime anybody makes a review and says I just had one on Halloween that said they absolutely love my book and they couldn't put it down. They read the whole thing in one sitting. So anytime that happens, now see, when I'm done with this interview, I'm going to go right back and start writing again.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? When you get really good reviews like that, it keeps you going and it pushes you along.
Yeah, it really fires you up. I never expected anything like this.
Yeah.
I have over 100 reviews on Amazon, and like 90 of them are 5 stars. So I'm like 9 out of 10 people that really love my stuff.
That's fantastic. It is an uplift, isn't it? When you get something like that.
And the first one I ever got was 1 star, and I didn't like it at all. So that's really, man, I was like, oh, forget it. I'm just going to pull it off Amazon. But then the 5-star reviews got coming. I'm like, well, maybe I'll stick with it.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, isn't it? With reviews, you get the 1 stars, and it sort of like puts you in a bit of a lull for a bit.
Yeah, the same thing. Exactly. You're like, oh, no.
But I think what we've got to remember is, as authors, is not everybody's going to like our books.
Right.
So
what are you working on now?
I'm working on a novella called Toxic Maternal.
Sounds cool.
It's going to be a bit of a splatterpunk. And I already think I've gone too far on one scene, but there we go.
Maybe you got to tone this down a little bit. Some of my relatives are going to read this and think I'm crazy. Well, that's good luck with that. I can't wait to read it.
Thank you. So what advice would you give to aspiring writers who want to break out into the horror genre?
Never think it's too late. I didn't start writing until I was 59. So it's going really great for me. I'm going to all kinds of conventions and having a blast. I'm meetings. I had Emily Swallow from The Mandalorian, and from she was a big TV star, and she came by my booth and bought one of my books. So don't ever think it's too late. Get going. Start up. You never know what could happen.
That's right. There's a lot of people that have started later on in life. I think it's because life's got in the way. They've always wanted to write, but life's just got in the way for some people.
Yeah, like I said, my high school teacher says I couldn't write that way. So I just gave it up. I'm lucky I'd saved that one story, though, because otherwise I wouldn't be here.
So Like I said, I think it's good that you've been able to publish that. I think it's brilliant.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and to aspiring writers, try going anywhere you can to sell your books. I had one of my favorite, best shows was at a Christmas show, and everyone else was selling like cute little elves and Santa Claus ornaments and stuff. And here I was with horror books, and a lot of people just went and ran away. But I sold a lot of books at that thing. So try, just stick. If sometimes you're going to feel like, oh, what am I even doing here? But then at the end of the show, you end up selling a lot. So don't give up and go to like little flea markets or whatever you can.
Yeah, I've not done any of those yet. I haven't found any over here at the UK at the minute. So when I do, I'm gonna go to one, I think.
Well, yeah, and you have to sell yourself. You actually have to, reach out to people like as they're passing by and just say, hey, and try and get them interested. You can't there's a lot of people who sit there and don't do anything. And like, I don't see them, they don't sell that many books. You have to actually engage with people. So I know it's hard for like a lot of us writers are introverted. I'm a weird one. I'm like introverted extrovert. I could talk to anybody, but when I'm home, I just talk to, just a few people, but yeah, try and engage with people as they pass by.
Yeah. So are you working on any exciting projects at the moment?
Well, I'd love to finish this novel, but that's a few. But yeah, I do have one that's coming out. I got the cover being done. I have the final editing and formatting being done. So this will be Lost Minds, Wandering Soul 7. This will be my 7th book.
Yeah. And that's coming out when?
I'm hoping to have it on my birthday, November 30th.
Fantastic. I wish you the best of luck with that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's a great time. You're so interesting. Thanks for all the cool questions.
You're very welcome. So where can we find your books, George?
Right now I'm only on Amazon. I know a lot of people don't like to buy off them, but it's kind of hard for me. I'm not very good with technical stuff. Eventually I want to get it on, although 2 of them are on Barnes & Noble also. The first one and the 4th one. So I had nothing to do with that. Barnes & Noble grabbed my books off the internet somehow. So they're available there.
Yeah, you can. There's a bit of software that you can use. Websites. You've got Ingram Spark and Draft to Digital, where you can put them in all of the shops.
Are those hard to do? I haven't tried it yet.
No, they're about as simple as KDP, so they're
cool.
okay. So have a look at those.
Good information here.
Sorry?
You're giving me really good information. Thank you.
No, that's fine. Ingram Spark, you can put them on there. It's just uploading your book as normal, and it will put it through to other stores, same as Draft to Digital. They're quite good, to be fair, both of them.
Yeah, I was going to try Ingram Spark, and I was going to try Apple. I don't know. I don't have an iPad, but I guess I'll have to get one.
Yeah, both of them will put them onto Apple. So
really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have that option as well. And put it on, what's the other ones now? There's Smashwords, Barnes & Noble. There's quite a few that you can put them onto.
Wow. You're a wealth of information. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, it's been lovely having you on the show, George. I wish you the best of luck with all of your endeavors.
You too. I can't wait to hear it, and I can't wait to hear the rest of your podcasts.
You're very welcome.